Why a brand's culture must change in 2021. In the wake of the pandemic, brands have the critical role to play in the worldwide effort to heal and move forward. A new standard for branding has emerged. Consumer expectations have changed, and the biggest mistakes brands are making right now is not changing their brand's priorities to align with their customers' evolving expectations, and your brand can do way better. Today, we're answering the question on every entrepreneur's mind: how can my brand come out of nowhere in 2021? And here's the answer: by investing in cultivating brand culture. Drop those blinders to everything but your team's productivity. Productivity is actually not the number one driver behind a brand success. Focusing solely on, or even like hyper-vigilantly on productivity often costs more than it's worth. Marketing experts have known for years that most of today's ultra-discerning consumers want to align their purchase power with brands that have similar values and ethics to their own. But if you ever had a doubt about whether or not brands matter to their communities, new data has revealed that consumers are not only expecting brands to step up, but in some parts of the world, the pandemic has left entire communities relying on brands to help them survive. In today's episode, I'm going to release some statistics that will blow your mind when you see how much consumer expectations of the brands they choose to support have skyrocketed since the pandemic began. I mean, it's astronomical. I want you to have this information right now because every dollar your brand make is going to be a direct result of listening to your ideal individuals. And right now, they are speaking loud and clear. At the end of this episode, I'm going to give you the exclusive link to download my branding checklist for 2021 so you have a solid touchstone to help you on your journey to become an inspiration to millions through the expression of your brand. So are you ready for these mind-blowing statistics? Here we go. In a recent Edelman report released March of 2021, based on market research from 12 different countries around the globe, 62% of respondents reported that their country would not have been able to recover from the pandemic without brands helping their communities pull through. And 55% said that brands responded more quickly than the government in terms of getting people the assistance and additional support they needed to care for their families. This is huge. Brands now have a responsibility to care about the people in their communities, not just about whether or not they're ready to make another purchase or if their employees are getting shifts covered because they called in sick, but to actually show and express concern for the well-being and the best interests of the people who are invested in the brand. And the best way for a brand to show concern is to create solutions, ease suffering, and offer the emotional support of a community that will let your people know they are not alone. The name of the game is no longer to outsell the competition, it's to outcare, as it always should have been. What's more is that a whopping 71% agree that if a brand appears to be pulling profits over people in 2021, they will lose trust in that brand forever. They've had it up to here, and they're letting us know. And this brings us to a brand culture. As if these stats were not stunning enough and clearly illuminating the true purpose and importance of a brand in the eyes of the consumer. But this study also recorded unanimity, a 90% global recognition that people with brands to do everything that they can to protect the well-being and financial security of their employees and suppliers, even if it means taking a financial loss over, just until the pandemic is over. So, what is a brand culture? Brand culture can be defined in many ways, but because today we're looking to avoid the biggest and most common mistakes in branding, I'm going to give it to you like this, a little tough love definition of brand culture. At the end of the day, the reality of your brand culture is defined by the way your shareholders feel about your brand. And it won't be your playful messaging, it won't be your snazzy packaging, it won't be your upbeat social media presence. Instead, the level of collective pride and trust and overall happiness that your employees and suppliers feel in regards to your brand will be the true tell-all, the truth of the truth that defines your brand culture. And whatever that brand culture amounts to, for better or worse, it's getting telegraphed, as is, to your customers. Elon Musk put it like this: a brand is just a perception, and over time, perception will match reality. And if the reality of your brand culture doesn't match the perception you want your brand to create in the minds and hearts of your ideal brand community, then it's only a matter of time before people will start to question the authenticity of your brand. When your team members' lives are improving because your brand is keeping its promise to them, then they will be more happy to make 100% certain that your customers know that your brand can be trusted and your brand keeps its promises. And that, in a nutshell, is the definition of a healthy brand culture. Richard Branson says there is no magic formula for great company culture. The key is to just treat your staff how you'd want to be treated. It's the golden rule, right? When people trust your brand, then and only then can a lasting relationship be formed. Always remember, no matter what business you're in, brand loyalty is your business plan. So why a brand can no longer survive without a brand culture? The Edelman Research Study speaks for itself. People want less brands who market perfect self-imagery and unrealistic lifestyle standards, and they want more brands who are the people actively seeking solutions to make life better, ease human suffering, and forge new paths towards a greater future. Your brand culture is the beating heart of your brand, and it is the most human, most vulnerable, most relatable aspect of your brand. And it's where the love comes through to touch the beating hearts of your ideal individuals. A brand without a thriving brand culture, it isn't alive. It's a machine going through the motions, reading from the script and playing the numbers game, existing only to facilitate one sale to the next. And it's not what inspires people in 2021, not at all. That's not what wins brand loyalty. And whatever business you're in, brand loyalty is your business plan. So today, 66% of consumers worldwide consider company culture as the welfare of employees to be the deciding factors that determine whether they buy from your brand or your competitor's brand. That is only half the story of why a brand can no longer survive without a great brand culture. Brand culture is now a major differentiator for attracting the diversity, talent, and expertise that is now necessary to drive a brand's long-term success in 2021. In today's digital marketplace, the internal affairs are now external, and the discrepancies between your brand's messaging and your brand culture can no longer be kept behind closed doors. In a study of 500 responders by the aptly named Glassdoor, 77% of people consider a brand's culture before applying for a job. And this is the kind of talent money can't always buy. Over half of the respondents considered a thriving brand culture to be more important than salary when it comes to job satisfaction. Great brands invest greatly in people. Okay, so as an entrepreneur, you're creating something special that's going to make the people's lives better. You know, entrepreneurs are experts in human happiness. They fuel their passions by locating common sources of human unhappiness and provide the world with a solution for it. This higher purpose of serving the greater good of humanity is the foundation of every great brand culture. Simon Manwaring says brands must become architects of community. I just love that. So why are entrepreneurs still hiring talent at $5 an hour? At that price point, you already know to some extent that you're only going to get what you pay for. Either someone's inexperienced and learning on your time, or someone doesn't know how to communicate their own value yet. How can they effectively communicate the value of your brand? How motivated will they be to do that? And at the end of the transaction, neither their lives nor the life of the brand are made better for it. Yes, having a sound financial plan is, of course, very important to the life of your brand. And yes, you should have a budget that is sustainable for you. But before you cut costs by reducing a brand's investment in people, consider investing in a consultation from a great financial planner instead. So many entrepreneurs, make the mistake of prioritizing costs and time over productivity, over brand culture, not realizing that a brand's investment in people will determine the people's investment in the brand. When it comes to knowing how to prioritize your brand culture over the cost of time, of productivity, just do what you do best as an entrepreneur. Be an expert in human happiness. Build a community and fortify that community with the love and support of your brand. Brands that act in the best interest of their employees, the stakeholders, and humanity at large will succeed in establishing their expertise, commanding leadership, and inspiring trust that will serve to strengthen the bond that they have with their brand community. This is the moment right now. Brands are in the spotlight, and it's a defining moment during a worldwide effort to heal from a collective crisis for brands to prove that they put people first. As entrepreneurs and experts in human happiness, the people are counting on us, and you're so much closer than you think to making a real impact, winning brand loyalty, and becoming an inspiration to millions. Thank you so much for joining me. As promised, here's the link below for the branding checklist. You're going to love it. It's a tremendous resource, and it'll be in the description below. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to click the bell so you don't miss a single thing. I release new videos every Tuesday and Thursday, so keep treating these episodes as your masterclass for becoming an inspiration with your branding. And as always, to become an inspiration to millions starts with our motto: love what you do and love how you do it. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out on a single thing. Subscribe below. And here's something else I think you'll love.